Hi, and thanks for watching this video. I'm Tim, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a birdhouse for under $5 in under 5 minutes. This project's a lot of fun and it's really easy to do, so follow along, enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Start off by gathering together all the materials and tools that you're going to need for this project. You'll need a piece of wooden board. I'm using spruce 3/4 of an inch thick, 5.5 inches wide, and at least 4 feet long. You'll also need a hammer, nails, I'm using 1.5 inch framing nails, some kind of marker or pen, a tape measure, 4 screws, I'm using 1.5 inch long screws, a handsaw or appropriate way to cut the wood, and a drill with a hole saw and small bit. I recommend you use a hole saw 1.5 inches in diameter. Anything larger will attract aggressive bird species such as sparrows. When you're choosing a board, make sure you select one that is as straight as possible. We're going to start off by marking our cuts on the wooden board. Starting on one side of the board from the bottom, mark 5.5 inches along the board, then mark 9 inches from that mark, 8 inches from that mark, 6 inches from that mark, 8 inches from that mark, and 6 inches from that mark. On the other side of the board, starting from the bottom, make a mark that's 5.5 inches from the base of the board, then a mark 9 inches from that mark, a mark 8 inches from that mark, a mark 6 inches from that mark, 6 inches from that mark, and 8 inches from that mark. Here's a diagram showing what the marks should look like. Now we're going to use these marks to line up our cuts, like so. I use the back of my handsaw as a straight edge to line these marks. You should also label the parts so that you don't get them mixed up once you've cut them. Starting from the base of the board, the first piece is the bottom, the second piece is the back, the third piece is the top, the fourth piece is the front, and the fifth and sixth pieces are the sides. If you're not planning on painting this birdhouse, I suggest you write these names in a pencil so you can erase them later. Now, using all appropriate safety gear, make all the cuts that we marked. Next, we're going to trim down the front board to make it 4 inches wide. Measure 2 marks 4 inches from the side, line them up, and cut. Now we're going to make a hole in the front for the birds to use to get in and out of the birdhouse. As I said earlier, I suggest you make a hole 1.5 inches in diameter. Next, we're going to nail all the pieces together. Starting with the board marked the bottom, start 2 nails in one side, like so. Now, nail it in place to one of the side pieces on the non-diagonal part. And then the other side piece. Now we can slide in the front board and nail it in place. Finally, line up and nail the backboard in place. You could nail the top in place also, however, I recommend you instead use screws to hold it in place. That way, at the end of each nesting season, you can clean out the inside of the birdhouse by removing the screws. I also suggest you first drill 4 pilot holes so that the board doesn't crack when you put the screws in. Once that's done, screw it in place. The birdhouse is now complete, but there's a few finishing touches. You can put a nail below the hole for birds to stand on, and you can also put a hook or a screw in top to attach some thread to hang it from a tree. Okay, so that's all there is to it. As you can see, the construction is obviously pretty basic, but I've never heard the birds complain. It's a great project to do with your kids. You can, of course, paint it afterwards if you want to, or modify the design to make it more interesting. But if you did have any questions or problems with the project, drop down in the comments below. I'll do my best to help you out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'll have more videos coming out soon.